Hello, and welcome to the Heart of Collaboration. This is Bernice Belt, and I'm your host and producer, and I am so happy that you would allow us to be in your viewing audience, and we really appreciate it. We're here in the studios right here at WKCTC Television Department in the award-winning Paducah, Kentucky. And our guests today are from Community Coming Together, the co-founders, Mr. Busy Banks and Mr. Andre Shumpert. Welcome.
Hello.
Hello.
Thank you for agreeing to come, and I know that you have lots of things to do. You've got family, you have work, you have ministry, and you have volunteerism. You have all sorts of things going on for such young men in our community, and we want to thank you so much. Well, let's get into the meat and potatoes of Community Coming Together. The first thing is, tell us how Community Coming Together was birthed.
Well, me and Andre Shumpert and a couple other guys were standing out in a couple of our Paducah Housing Authority sites, and we realized that there wasn't any kids out playing basketball. And we noticed that when we was kids, we traveled from neighborhood to neighborhood and played basketball with each other. So we thought we could get on social media and just call people out to the sites that we was at and try to call people out to just play pickup games. Mm-hmm. And it started out by just having maybe about 20, 30 players. We decided we wanted to call people out every Sunday. So the very next Sunday, it just started growing and growing. The next Sunday, we had 50 to 60 people out. Then the third Sunday, we ended up linking up with Paducah First Baptist, and they was at Robert Coleman Park, and they was on the same mission that we was on. They decided that they was trying to bring their church people from outside of their home to different communities to link up with different people. And we did an event with them, and we brought out 500 people, and ever since then we just wanted to grow and grow and grow.
Did you say 500?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh my goodness. And earlier you said you had built up to about 50, did you say?
Yes, ma'am.
There are some churches that can't get 50 folk on Sunday. Yep, I said it. Y'all call me. But seriously though, that's a joke. But seriously though, 500?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh my goodness. How many organizations would love to have 500 people show up to anything? 500, and this was what location when you got up to that number?
Robert Coleman.
Robert Coleman
Yes,
Park? Awesome. And what street is that on in Paducah for people who are not familiar?
It's on 8th Street.
Yeah.
And
South 8th?
South 8th.
Yeah.
It's right there by the water park.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and very close to Paducah, the Paducah City Schools District Office.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And also, when First Baptist on Broadway, where the current pastor, I think he's been there 2 or 3 years,
Yes.
Pastor Charles Moore is the senior pastor.
Yes, ma'am.
When you began to link with Paducah, with the Baptist church on Broadway, tell us what happened from that point on with that church.
Well, we had certain like Rock the Blocks. We had one. The first one was Rock the Block at Robert Coleman Park. Then we had one, I believe, at the Paducah River, the riverfront. Mm-hmm. And then our third one was just like a candle walk. But since then, we've been just linking up and doing everything with them.
Good.
And ever since we started the first partnership and people actually realized our mission and saw what we was trying to do for our community, it just actually brought other organizations to actually reach out and decide to want to be a part of this, as long as we're all serving the same mission.
Yes. Now, what brought on the name Community Coming Together? How did y'all decide on that?
Well, we were standing out in the neighborhood, and a couple other guys actually was involved with us, and he just had mentioned the name. LeVar Diller had mentioned the name one day, and was like, let's name this Community Coming Together. And we was all just stunned and just like, that is perfect.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So
that's wonderful. Now, how long have you been in this organization?
it'll be 2 years this May.
You know what? I would have just known it was at least 4 years. With all the work and the things that you have accomplished since you've been this organization, I'm stunned to know it's only been 2 years.
Yes, ma'am. Our first year we did 150 different events in partnership with different organizations. After the first year, and we realized we'd done that many events, I think we stopped counting. So we just try to reach out to any organizations that actually needs help, need volunteers or anything to do with the kids, our senior citizens, different race groups, any kind of part of trying to serve our community, we want to be a part of it.
150 events
Plus
the
more.
first year.
Yes,
It was
ma'am.
plus more.
Plus more. And that's the first year.
Yes, ma'am.
So that means that you had a pretty tight team, would you say?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
In terms of your team, I think you have a board,
Yes,
and
ma'am.
maybe you have some committee persons. Tell us about your board members and whatever else you'd like to say about your committees and how you make things happen.
Well, speaking of myself, I'm the president.
Hello, Mr. President.
I'm not Barack Obama. This is the CEO, and our secretary is Miss Connie Dinkins, and our vice president is my mom, Sonny Shumpert, and the treasurer is Alicia Suggs, and the
Event organizer, Lamara Askew. And then we have two spiritual advisors, Pastor Alfred Anderson and Brother Joe Warren.
Awesome. Now, Brother Warren is a minister.
Yes,
minister
ma'am.
of Mount
Yes.
Moriah Baptist Church.
Yes.
My church.
And if you leave him alone too long, he'll try to do a sermon, won't he?
Oh, yes. Yes, we love it.
Well, I think you have two good advisors. Pastor Anderson is the president of the Community Clergy Fellowship, and so you have partnered or co-sponsored and worked closely with the fellowship through Pastor Anderson, and that has been wonderful too.
Yes, ma'am.
Where do you meet, and what are some of the other organizations within the community that open their doors to you so that you can do the work that you do?
We meet at Elmwood Community Computer Lab, and sometimes we meet over to Anderson Court Community Center.
Yes.
And other organizations, they open their doors up. Head Start then open their doors up. Starfish Ministry then open their doors up.
Paducah Housing Authority.
Was it
You have
residential?
office space.
Yes, ma'am. We our first office was actually at Starfish Orphanage. We
No,
started
hold on. It was at the house, in the house.
Oh yes, we started in our living room.
In your living room.
Yes,
living
we was meeting every night in my living room, and we was just having all our papers out, planning our things to do, and giving people different missions and to accomplish. And it felt good for some of the people that actually gave them something to do. And when they accomplished some of the things, and then the next person accomplished the next task, and we all put it together and realized what we came up with, it's just awesome.
Awesome. And so you are given that space as a type of in-kind sponsorship. They don't charge you rent. You have the use of the computers and the printers. And is that correct?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Awesome. Shout out to the Housing Authority.
Yes, ma'am.
And to Starfish
Starfish.
Ministries and to Paducah Day
Nursery,
Nursery,
Paducah Head Start,
Paducah Head Start,
NAACP,
NAACP.
the whole Paducah.
And
Clergy.
Paducah, they just want to thank everybody. And isn't that awesome that ministry can be done without tying your hands because of lack of funding? You are a nonprofit in nature. One of these days you'll be that officially somewhere down the road. Right now you're just having a whole lot of fun making a difference, aren't you?
Oh, yes.
And what that shows me is that you don't have to have any fancy attachments to make a difference in your community. All you have to do is love God's people,
Yes, ma'am.
be passionate about wanting to provide for them, and loving them unconditionally. And so some of the pictures that we see on Facebook sometimes shows quite a bit of diversity, African American, Caucasian American, young at heart. It really touches my heart to see that. And thank God for social media,
Oh, yes,
yeah.
ma'am.
that you can reach out and
That's how
right
we
there in
got
somebody's
started.
hand, somebody's desktop, and they can see everything that's going on, and you get that message out there. I'm telling you, it's really touching for all of us who feel the same way that you do about humankind. What were you going to say, Mr. Banks?
Another awesome thing that I like about our organization is that a lot of the people that we work with are people that actually have struggles of their own, who wanted to box themselves out of society because of certain issues and stuff like that. Like some of the events that go on in our city might not be affordable for certain groups. So we try to make all of our events as free or as low income as possible. And we realize that, you know, when people don't have nothing to do, they end up doing the wrong thing.
Wow, that'll preach. That'll
so
preach
we,
right there.
So we actually tried to not just focus on basketball or, you know, just certain events or stuff. We're trying to do any event that could actually help the next person just to get up and get out of their comfort zone or just to come out. I mean, it made me realize that just getting up out of the house, taking my kids down to the riverfront and throwing rocks in the water is better than just sitting in the house and sitting on my couch and my kids is out busting windows or something like that.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
So.
Some of the events, just by what you just said, some of the events that raise self-esteem, increase interest in positive things, have been some events like why marriage is important. How to raise a man. You did it one time, then you did it 2 times.
Oh, yeah. We're going for a third time.
Going for a third time. Isn't that great?
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Yeah, because, and not just in low-income environments and among African Americans and some Caucasians, depending on their socioeconomic status, but there are people who are considered wealthy who did not have productive and constructive relationships with their fathers, and many didn't have it with their mothers. And having money and position and titles didn't make any difference.
Yes,
and so these events are open to all socioeconomic levels, people from every neighborhood, every walk of life, every struggle, every condition, every experience. Thank God for you and thank God for that. What are some of the other events that you've had in the past?
We had a event called Beautiful Beginnings, and that event was for young ladies and their mothers to come out, and we had a guest speaker come out. She was actually a person that tried out for the American Idol and a couple other speakers, but Ann's Bridal actually sponsored 100 prom dresses.
My
and
goodness.
So our young ladies got to actually go pick out dresses, and their mothers got to pick out dresses as well. And then they got all dolled up and they got to go to this event and really had an awesome time.
How neat is that?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, wow.
We also had How to Raise a Man 1 at Starfish Ministry, and our speakers was Monte Orr, T. Simone, and Pastor Aaron Thomas. And basically I came up with the name How to Raise a Man because these young men need to learn how to raise a man, become a man. And we brought T. Simone in to actually let them, you know, show the mothers that's raising a man or raising a son by herself. You know, it ain't easy to raise a son by herself.
And then some techniques and approaches and things as to how to do it better, to break some curses. Some of the events have been held at the Fellowship Hall at Mount Moriah. And what are some of the other locations where other than Coleman Park and Mount Moriah, what were some of the other locations?
Greater Lincoln Heights.
Greater Lincoln Heights Baptist Church.
We did a boys lock-in that was very successful, and it was at Paducah Middle School last summer.
Paducah Middle School.
And we plan on trying to do that again this summer, and as well as just different events that branches off of one event, as well as How to Raise a Man. We saw on social media a young man from North Carolina who had started a gentleman's club at his school. And that program consisted of the young men meeting twice a month, and the mentors was teaching the young men how to tie ties, how to use their manners, how to open the doors for women and ladies, and how to just pull a seat back for them.
Yes.
Well, basically, like just how to dress when it comes to showing them how to go to an interview, you know, like how we talking now, how we dress. I mean, these kids today need to learn how to not sag.
Yes,
That's the main thing.
They need to learn how to not sag.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you. And that's primarily for the males. And then the females need to learn how to stop showing all their cookies.
Yes, ma'am.
Can I get a
ma'am.
witness,
Yes,
somebody?
ma'am.
Oh,
Leave something for the imagination.
I
What are you
just
going
feel
to
like
do?
if you
What are you
gotta-
going to do when you're 55, 60, 70? You going to still show your cookies?
Some of them do.
That will be a show all by itself.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, and so women have to learn how to be attractive and classy and bold and but not brassy, loose and naked. Oh my God! I told you we were going to have fun. Sometimes we have to get the fire extinguisher out because the place will be on fire.
That's okay.
And then the spiritual side of it, not so much of the religion. I think religion has gotten people in this country, in this world, in so much trouble.
Oh, yeah.
Religious people fight and kill each other all the time.
Oh, yes.
But from a spiritual aspect, what are some of the things you try to do, not necessarily to preach or teach denomination or to try to lead anybody to any particular church, but what are some of the spiritual things that you do to try to connect, to teach people that they need to have something other than the world? They need to have a level of faith.
Okay.
Well, let me just say this. We had event with pastor, or not pastor, but the event was called Financial Work.
Yes.
Workshop.
With Brother Patrick White.
Patrick White.
Yes.
And well, he was his whole thing was saying, have faith in what you're trying to accomplish with your financial.
That's good.
And when it comes to financial, you do have to have God to lead you in the right way and make good decisions with your money. So that's one of the spiritual I got to.
Yes. And so Mr. White combined spirituality, which he probably used the term stewardship.
Yes.
To combine spirituality as it relates to stewardship, or in other words, being a good manager over what you have, and then for people who believe in the divine level of faith, that you want God to lead you and how to handle your things, so that you can learn how to take good care of what you have, so that you're in a position to be able to receive more. You take good care of that, you receive more, you take good care of that, and so you break the curse of poverty.
Right.
That's good. That's
Well,
good.
he also said, I'm sorry. Well, he also said that, your blessings do come from God. And that's also just like whatever blessings you get, take care of it. So
That's good. And so Mr. White has a really nice approach to things. He doesn't get real preachy with you or anything like that. He meets you where you are. He uses professional language, but then he defines, he explains what that is, so that you're all on the same sheet of music. I sat in on one of his presentations at one of the local churches several years ago, and it was very, very, very good. And just when you think you know what you need to know about it, I learned something too, and my husband and I implemented it. And it paid off.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. A moment ago, I think you were getting ready to say something, Mr. Banks.
Yes. I know it's spiritual level, but when we first started Community Coming Together, I was in kind of a transition from Nashville to here, and I hadn't been to church in over 10 years. Well, after meeting the First Baptist group and just actually attending a few Bible study classes and everything, they made it known that at one point in time we thought that this was our work, Community Coming Together. We loved what we was doing, but actually we realized it let us learn that this is God's work.
Yes.
So just meeting all of these different people, and I feel like God actually put us in these positions just to network and to be on the right page and to walk His walk.
Pastor Moore is a powerful preacher and teacher.
Yes,
and I try to catch him on TV whenever I can, when I'm not to and from where I'm going to worship. And I noticed that he is very big on full acceptance of people, meeting people where they are, and regarding people the way God regards people, and being a part of what it takes to change what needs to be changed, to enhance what needs to be enhanced. And so I think that he's got it going on over there at First Baptist on Broadway in Paducah, Kentucky. And he loves y'all.
Yes, ma'am.
He loves y'all. I know it. I watched him at one of the NAACP events that was held at Robert Cherry Civic Center not too long ago. and I saw the three of you over to the side talking, and I had to run over there with my camera and take a picture of you guys. It was so sweet, so touching, the way that the three of you interacted. And I saw the love, and I saw the genuine regard that the three of you have for each other. And I just wanted to point that out too.
Yes, ma'am. I just think it's so awesome that, you know, we're able to do different events and stuff like that outside of our race as well as other races and with our race as well. You know, I just feel that that's, you know, what we're going through in our world today, you know, it's getting kind of out of hand, and just showing people that, hey, you know, we're all God's people, and we're all trying to do His work. You know, let's do it together.
One of the wonderful things I like about it too is that y'all are young. You're two young men of color who are, you know, you knew you were taking a risk, but the risk was worth it.
Yes, ma'am.
And you knew you had covering from God because of everything about it. You knew you didn't have to worry about that part. And so in our community and in our region, as a matter of fact, you've all been so embraced immediately. And I think that people are touched by it because you didn't wait until you had everything you needed to do what you needed to do. You just jumped right out there with what you had,
Yes,
and you multiplied from that point on. And I'm so excited about it. I can't stand it. What are some of the things that you want to do in the future? Now, don't share anything that you don't feel compelled to share anything that you're not really certain about. But what are some of the things that you have talked about that you want to do in the days, the weeks, the months, the years ahead?
Well, one of the main things is once we establish and finish our paperwork for our 501c3, we would like to be able to take our youth on different trips, like outside of our city. A lot of our youth, we know that might not never leave outside of McCracken County. So we like to just give them the opportunity to take field trips and earn their way to be able to get the privilege to go on these trips. And just like, we planning a trip to Louisville to the Muhammad Ali Museum, and we like to take 10 young men and 10 young ladies to see the Muhammad Ali Museum. I haven't never saw it myself, so I think I would enjoy it myself.
Well, how are you going to decide what 10 boys and what 10 girls will be able to go?
Well, so far we're working with the school system and with Robert Tyler and Alfred Anderson and Dante Tyler is actually going to help us kind of fix
Organize it.
Now, Mr. Tyler, what does he do in the school system?
He actually has
I think he got a class or something.
yes, he has a organization that he's actually helping Paducah Middle School with as well, and it's on the same level as community coming together.
Is it somewhat like a resource
Yes,
type
ma'am.
aspect of the school? That's great. That's great. He has a lot of background in that.
Oh, yes, sir.
That's how we
Yeah.
was able to pick our young men that wanted to do the lock-in. He actually was Robert Tyler was actually the guy that actually got the approval for middle school and
Yes.
actually got the young men that actually really needed to go to that event.
During the lock-in there at Paducah Middle School, tell us what went on during that period of time.
Well, we had different speakers, such as like Miss Spann,
The principal at
McNabb.
McNabb Elementary.
We had Reverend Anderson. We had
Pastor Alfred Anderson. We had Savvy Kareem Shabazz. and
Busy
he's a-
Banks.
He's actually a guy from Louisville.
Yes.
And what we did was, instead of just bringing the boys in and they just came in the gym and just played games, we made sure that every hour to hour and a half, we had a guest speaker speak. And they kind of talked to the young men about either some things that they went through in their life or some things that our young men is gonna go through in their lives. So it was very educational and fun at the same time.
Yes, yes.
And as of today, we still have young men randomly come up to us on a regular and be like, "Hey, when's the next lock-in?"
How about that?
You know, so. And I have this one guy. He makes sure he comes up and he lets me know that, you know, he's doing good in school. This is the information that I'm not asking for. This is he feels good about himself, and he feels that he got something out of that right there,
Yes.
and he's looking forward to more things.
Well, in order to go on those out-of-city, out-of-state trips, so are you going to require some reports about behavior and respecting authority and getting that homework done and turned in, and
Oh,
studying
yes,
for the
ma'am.
test, and raising those grades and
Yes,
all of
ma'am.
that? All right, good. So there's no benevolent stuff going on. They have to earn
Oh,
it.
yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
That's what you do, because that's life. You have to work and earn good stuff.
Yes, ma'am.
That's great. We're going to have to close out very shortly. That's the way it happens on the Heart of Collaboration. We get to having so much fun, and the next thing you know, we've got to say goodbye. But each of you take a few seconds and say whatever you'd like to say as we get ready to say bye-bye to our audience.
Well, I like to say to the whole Paducah, and just say I appreciate the love that you've been showing us, and in the future, I want to grow with our community. I want to grow in like positive ways, to where, you know, God's gonna shine on us, and I just want to, you know, grow in our organization
Yes.
as more people, not just young people. I want to bring churches, black people, white people, aliens,
everything in
everybody.
between.
But, you know, we just trying to make a difference.
Yes.
That's all we're trying to do.
All
And for myself and my organization,
Yes.
I just want to tell my organization,
Yes.
hey, we can do this.
Yes. Mr.
And-
Banks?
Well, first, I like to use Pastor Anderson's favorite line. Community come together, like to be a part of anybody or anything that's going on productive and positive in our community. We like to be a part of it. And it's not just about community coming together. Anything that's going on that we can actually help and volunteer and be a part of it, we love to spend our time helping our community.
Community Coming Together is on Facebook.
Yes,
Y'all
yes,
need
ma'am.
to plug it in, like them, and give them some words of encouragement. And so thank you so much for being on the Heart of Collaboration. Tell everybody on your board, all the people that connect with you and help you, that we appreciate them too. And maybe they'll tune in and see this show, your show, Community Coming Together.
Well, I'd like to give a special shout out to all of our members. We have a message group with maybe about 30 members, and we all network and communicate with each other every day. So I like to give a big shout out to everybody that stays productive and stay active with us, and just let's keep up the good work.
And I hope we didn't leave anybody out, because I wanted to make sure, I believe in giving people the credit that's due them.
Oh, yeah.
I believe that is an obligation that humankind must demonstrate on a daily basis. And if I don't think we missed anybody, but
Oh,
if
hope
we
not.
did, please forgive us. We'll catch up the next time when y'all come back
Blame
on
it
the
on
show.
him.
Yes, yes. Thank you so much for spending some time with us at the Heart of Collaboration, and we appreciate you, and we look forward to you giving us more ideas and suggestions on to who our guest ought to be, and we thank you so much. Thank you, Community Coming Together.
Thank you for having us.
You're welcome.